Ahoy there! Now it's been a week since my last video, and this is because I have been playing a lot, probably too much, of Sea of Thieves. Now this video is not going to be a review, that's not what I really do here, but I will speak about the single biggest concern with this game, and that's becoming a heated debate across numerous online forums. So first off, here's some context. In Sea of Thieves, you are a pirate, and you have a ship, and you go around finding various kinds of loot, carting them back to an outpost and selling them for gold, which you then use to buy cosmetic-only upgrades to make yourself look more piratey. You can also find other ships, sink them and kill their crew, and then steal their loot of course. There are essentially only 3 missions which you can get loot from. You can kill skeleton captains and take their skulls. You can use a riddle or a map to find buried treasure, or you can catch chickens, pigs and snakes and deliver them to specific outposts. Other than that, there are skeleton forts that occasionally pop up on the map with a huge amount of loot to gather if you can clear them out. And that right there is pretty much the extent of the game. That is every meaningful thing that you can do in Sea of Thieves at the moment, and some people are seeing that as a big problem. There is a claim out there that Sea of Thieves is empty of content, that it is the new No Man's Sky, and that it offers nothing more than a limited variety of fetch quests culminating in a very slow grind towards a different coloured jacket, peg leg, or set of sails. And for the most part, all of this is true. Sea of Thieves really doesn't have much content. Now at this point, it seems pretty important to look at what exactly people mean when they say content. It is a word thrown around a lot, usually on feedback forums as jilted gamers scream at developers to add more things into their game. The general consensus is that content is stuff that you can do in the game. Destiny, at the end of Year 3, had a lot of content. Destiny at the start of Year 1 didn't really have that much at all. World of Warcraft, for instance, has a lot of content. Call of Duty games these days tend to have a lot of content as well. They have a campaign, a horde mode, and a vast array of multiplayer game modes. But what about a game like PUBG or Fortnite? These games have hardly any content at all. They're the same every single time, and yet they're still very, very successful. The earlier Halo games, with only a campaign and multiplayer, had really limited content as well, albeit with a way for players to make their own maps and game modes. What about The Witcher 3? That has a whole heap of single player content. But then again, so did Dragon Age Inquisition, and that didn't fare anywhere near as well critically. And then we can look at a game like Portal 2, which is considered to be one of the most amazing games of all time, despite very limited content with pretty much just a single player campaign and a shorter co-op campaign. My point is that the amount of content is not a method by which you can effectively judge the quality of a game, because different genres of game require different amounts of content to keep people busy. Now unfortunately, Sea of Thieves does not fit into a clear genre of game. It really is unique, and it's something new. I can't even draw a direct comparison between Sea of Thieves and any other game that I have played, because it's just so different. The developer Rare are breaking new ground with this title, and that means we are unsure of how much content is needed to make it more successful, hence the debate. Some people think it needs a lot more, and some people think what we have is sufficient to have fun. In reality, no one really knows if it's enough or not, and only player numbers will tell as the game enters its 2nd and 3rd months. Personally, I am not disappointed by the amount of content Sea of Thieves has upon its release, and after a week of playing a lot of this game, I am still completely enthralled. Every time I go out sailing, I am really enraptured in the world and doing what I'm supposed to do. Keep in mind that I'm also the kind of person that used to run Destiny raids just for the opportunity of teaching and bossing around a group of players, and eventually to forge them into an efficient raid completing machine. So I very much appreciate the opportunities to lead a crew and boss people around that this game presents. I think that Sea of Thieves will live or die on the quality of its post-release content, and this is an unfortunate trend that affects almost all games these days, where in order for it to be successful and played over the long term, it will need to have a regular flow of patches, downloads, and updates. More and more, this means that we're going to have incomplete games shipped to us at full price, only to have more content added in later, or in the most extreme cases, sold back to us as paid DLC. Fortunately, Sea of Thieves does seem to have a pretty positive future when it comes to their DLC plan. They are planning free, major content drops every 3 months or so, with smaller updates in between. Now how closely they stick to this plan is yet to be seen. However, high sales figures indicate that the post-release support should be reasonably strong. There is talk also of microtransactions coming to the game in the future. These will be cosmetic only, and in this instance I am looking forward to their implementation, as it will encourage the development of new content to keep people playing. As much as we all like to hate on loot boxes, pay to win and microtransactions, as I've said before and I'll say it again, when they're implemented properly, it does improve the longevity of a game, and it does mean that we get more stuff into the future. And that's a good thing when it's not abusing the customer. So I am quite hopeful about the future of Sea of Thieves. Tentatively so, but still hopeful. I believe it does indeed justify the price tag, although I can also appreciate the concerns raised by others if you don't just enjoy sailing the sea and chasing other ships around. Now I'm going to be monitoring how it all progresses very closely, and we'll have some more videos coming shortly for Battlefront 2 as well. I've been saving up some good footage for that for you guys. I also want to say a massive thank you for all of those people that have joined us over on the 4FS Discord server. That's probably the best place to chat with us, ask questions, or keep up to date on when we are streaming. I'll put a link in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Ascendance from 4FS Gaming.